Hello and welcome to the Gooner Tool, back again with you guys for another episode of the Arsenal News Show on what is, for me, the biggest game of Arsenal's last 10 years. What a day today is. What an opportunity today is for Arsenal to beat their main title rivals this season, take a significant lead in the title race, and really make a statement to the rest of the Premier League and the world in terms of where Arsenal are as a club right now. The opportunity is available. The chance is there. The question is, can Arsenal take it? We bloody hope that they can, because for me, I don't know about you, but I could not be more pumped. I woke up this morning just completely awake. There was no tiredness at all. It was just kind of, right, I'm ready for the day. I'm ready for this game. I am so excited for this evening. I'm hoping that this excitement is so worth it and this build-up is matched by the performance that we see from the boys this evening. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be joining us from in the world of football today. Thank you so much, as always, for making this show part of your morning routines. Good morning to Matt G, Amira, Blackshine, Yomi, Anthony. Good morning to Olu. Good morning to NSW. Good morning to Colin, Red Star, Carlton, Louis, Jose, Liam, Elder Boatza. Good morning to Wilson and Kaiser. Good morning to Diane. Good morning to Clincy. Good morning to Josh, Morgie, Dave, Martin, Akmal. So many more of you as well. Thank you, as always, for you guys for joining us in the chat box. I hope you're having a great week, and I hope that today really does find the climax of your season. Let's move into today's stories. First of all, we start with a bit of a transfer story before we go into all the Manchester United stuff. And that is that we brought you news yesterday around Vitor Roque, the Athletic Paranaense forward, who is currently playing and had been playing for Brazil's under-20 squad. Fabrizio Romano, as well as a number of other outlets, have confirmed that a number of Premier League teams are interested in the 17-year-old striker. Paranense are saying that they want around 40 million euros, which is his buyout clause, to sign him. Surprise, surprise. But we can confirm indeed that Arsenal are one of the teams that have an interest in the player and that they will indeed have a go at trying to sign him in the near future. But a lot of teams, including the likes of Barcelona and other European clubs, as well as other competing Premier League sides, also have an interest in Vitor Roque. And so it's interesting to see what will happen. And we'll continue to update you along this transfer thread as the season progresses and as we get closer to that summer transfer window. But enough of transfers, because the focus very much today is on Arsenal against Manchester City. We played and kind of not played, but we did our preview show. I feel like I'm playing it almost. We did our preview show yesterday where we talked a lot about the lineups that we would use, how we're feeling ahead of the game, the tactics that we're expecting, the type of intensity that we're expected to see. Do you start Trossard? Do you start Martinelli? That was discussed, as long as other substitutions and other changes that Arteta might make to the team, how we think that Manchester City might set up. All of that is covered in our preview show. So please, if you haven't already given that a watch, that is the last upload on the channel. So make sure that you're up to date after today's show by going and watching that. Mikel Arteta addressed the press yesterday. He spoke in his press conference about a number of things, including, of course, the game against Man City. However, one of the big and most dominating parts of his press conference was about the VAR decision relating to the Brentford goal. He spoke very, very openly, brashly, bluntly, and accurately, in my view, about the game. He says, after analysing the images, we had a huge anger and disappointment because that wasn't a human error. That was a big, big, big case of not understanding the job. That's unacceptable. That cost us 2 points. That's not going to be restored. So we'll have to go and find those 2 points somewhere else in this league. He went on to describe this as saying that he had a lot of sympathy and the clubs had a lot of sympathy from outside, and that they are obviously ready to try and respond to the injustice by going and taking a big win in the game against Manchester City. He was asked, of course, about furthering is whether VAR is fit for purpose. He said, when I see the reaction that Howard Webb, the PGMOL and the Premier League had, and that genuine that was, with that anger, they want to do the best they can to try and understand everything that is at stake. There was a number of other comments, and you can read of that on the Arsenal website. You can watch it back, of course, on the Arsenal Way, which hit 50,000 subscribers, actually. We're very proud of that channel. And thank you everybody that's helped support it over there as well. Brilliant achievement in the space of less than 2 years to reach 50,000 subs. Anyway, moving more on to Arteta's comments about the team. He says the mood in training, there is a great energy. I sensed it after arriving from the Brentford game from the start. Around the club, there was a mixture of anger and desire to play the next game. So we need to use that for tomorrow. He was asked about kind of the changes that he might make, and he says that's more determined by results. But for us, it's more about performances and what players have given us to take us to the position we are in today. They deserve opportunities. Obviously, we are looking to give players opportunities that they deserve. You talked about Leo Trossard. We're talking about anybody who has had minutes in this league, and there will be changes. It will happen, and very soon. So will he make changes in this game? Well, I don't think that he will make the changes necessarily. I might be wrong. But I predict that tonight's 11 will be the same 11 that played against Brentford, that we'll see the likes of Trossard, etc., come off the bench. But one player who could be involved is not going to be Gabriel Jesus, unfortunately. He is, however, outside and training, and Arteta did provide an update on Gabriel Jesus as well. When asked about the player, he said that he's training outside at the moment. He's doing very well on the pitch. He's doing a lot of work on his own with the ball already, and he's in good spirits. But so far, the rehab is going well. And when asked for a time frame, he said, unfortunately not. Ask the doctor. Maybe he gives you one, which obviously isn't possible. But one player that could be involved this evening is Emile Smith-Rowe. Kaya Kainak asked actually the question whether or not he would be available, and got a very typical answer in response, to be fair, more so around the fact that I will write the list now, so I will make that decision. It seems like there is a good chance that Smith-Rowe could be in the squad this evening, along with Reiss Nelson as well, who could also be in the squad for tonight. There is some good news on that end that we hopefully will have a number of other options to come off the bench in attack should we need them. So that's a really positive news. But as you can see from the photo on the screen, Emile Smith-Rowe did indeed take part in training with the ball, with the team, with the first team squad ahead of the game tonight. So that is really positive news. Now, Pep Guardiola also faced the media and has certainly laid out somewhat of a gauntlet to Arsenal and a challenge to Arsenal to try and overcome. He says the biggest motivation is that I don't want to drop the Premier League just because we are not who we are. If they beat us because they are better, then this is sports. I'll be the first to congratulate them, as I've always done, but not because we are not there. You want it? Okay, fight. Take it. It's in our hands. We'll defend this title until the last day. This is what I'd like, to fight to the maximum to try to retain the title. And if we don't, accept it, but we need to give our best. My players have to feel that every day. He continued by saying, so far, Arsenal are the best team in the Premier League. They played an incredible first round of fixtures. We felt it when we played them a few weeks ago, how committed and how sharp they are. We have to try and read the game, and it will be a big, big battle. In every department, you have to be ready. He's laid out the gauntlet there. It is there. The challenge, the opportunity to take the title from City is there, and a win tonight would go a long, long way for Arsenal to try and achieve that. It really would be a massive opportunity if Arsenal can indeed take it. So we better not miss out on it. Just like you shouldn't miss out on the opportunity to get involved with our latest sponsor, which of course is NordVPN, which can provide you with the safety and security you need to keep the likes of Erling Haaland out of the back of your net. Your net, of course, being your social security of your mobile, your laptop, your device, your tablet, whatever you use. It keeps them away. The peeping Todd Bowleys of this world will have no chance with NordVPN, of course, allowing you to stay safe and secure while surfing the internet. It also enables you to change your geolocation. And hopefully Arsenal will not be changing their geolocation at the top of the Premier League table tonight. In fact, I'm hoping that they further the distance between themselves and Manchester City. But you can change the distance between where your phone thinks it is and anywhere else in the world just with one click of a button by using NordVPN's geolocation feature. Not only that, but if you go to nordvpn.com/Gooner, you get yourself a significant discount off a subscription. And if you're not happy with the service, you can get yourself a 30-day money-back guarantee. And we've got a brand new prize to talk about as well. This week's football prize, of which there is an early bird discount for the first 12 hours of the competition. So get involved early if you want to get involved with that discount, is a signed Bukayo Saka shirt from this season. You can also get involved and win other instant win prizes like an Alexander Zinchenko signed Arsenal 22-23 home shirt as well. There's also plenty of instant win football site credit prizes, so you can enter further competitions in the future. So don't miss out on your opportunity to get involved with our latest sponsorships. Links always down in the video description. Okay, we're going to move to part 2 and your questions right after this. Okay, let's jump into the chat box and see what you guys are saying. Let's go to William, who says, can we take 10 seconds just to laugh at Spurs? Yeah, of course. Of course. Take as long as you need, William. As long as you like to laugh at Spurs, because it's just always an absolute joyous moment to be able to do that. And last night, of course, they lost to Milan in the Champions League. It is only a narrow loss, 1-0, of course. Yeah, it's one that obviously you'd hope that Milan can still take to North London and knock Spurs out of the Champions League pretty comfortably. I mean, if they're not winning this game, you can't think they're going to progress too much further in the competition, can you? Can you really? Haroon says, hi Tom, would you start Trossard over either Martinelli or Nketiah? No. Yes, I would start him over Martinelli tonight. I'd play Trossard from the start, not over Nketiah though. Nketiah is getting way too much stick. Way too much stick. I mean, this game is kind of the perfect situation for Nketiah. I've got a lot of hope that Nketiah is going to be able to do the business for us tonight. He's going to get more opportunities, I think, than we've got in the last 2 games. He suits this style of play more. Even though he has scored in the past against teams with low blocks, it's almost like we've been worked out a little bit by the likes of Everton and Brentford a bit so far this season. But against Man United, which was only 3 league games ago, he got a couple of goals and was absolutely pivotal. Game before that against Tottenham away from home, he was brilliant in getting that victory for us. His performance overall was fantastic. So yes, Nketiah starts. For me, I'd bring Trossard in, give him an opportunity to play, but beyond that, no more changes to the team. Of course, you can go and watch our preview in which we talk about the lineup in a lot more depth as well. Let's go to Bakary Lasagna says, if we sign Vitor Roque, what does it mean for Nelson? Well, I mean, Vitor Roque is more of a centre forward than a wide player. He can play in the wide areas, but I think Nelson's time at the club is probably over anyway. His contract finishes in the summer, and there's no indication that a contract extension is being discussed, planned, organised whatsoever. So at the moment, Reiss Nelson is heading towards a permanent exit from Arsenal, and there are a number of Premier League teams and European clubs that are also said to be interested in Reiss Nelson. Temi says, do you think the referees are out to get us? I have no idea, but there's too many mistakes that happen continuously to not see the conspiracy theorists put to bed. And who can blame anybody for having a conspiracy theory about referees, to be honest? They give us the opportunity to have that theory, to have that concern, have that worry. So, of course, there's always that chance that maybe there's something going on behind the scenes. Who knows? Kev says, hi, Tom. Is this the game to bring in Tierney and put Zinchenko at left 8? No, as I say, I don't think you experiment for this game at all. Like, the only change that I would make is Trossard coming in, and that's not an experimentation. It's a like-for-like swap that we've already used against Man City once. Trossard played from the start against Man City earlier in the season in the FA Cup. You don't start changing significant portions of your team like Xhaka and Zinchenko for this. Maybe you do it against Villa, you try something different in that game, but you don't do it for this one. I just think it'd be mad to do that. Marcus says, if City are stripped of their trophies and given to the runners-up, we finally have a League Cup as well. How many trophies would Spurs get if that happened, though? Oh, it's a good point. Well, didn't City beat them in the League Cup final as well? I think Ryan Mason was he not manager for that game? They sacked Jose Mourinho just before it. So maybe we shouldn't. I don't think it's worth it, you know. I don't think we want to give Spurs any trophies. So, yeah, I'm kind of against the whole stripping. It's always a bit weird anyway to see them awarded. I think they just become null and void, unfortunately, for those years, and they just get stripped of those titles, but no one else takes them. Leia says, who is your favourite Arsenal player at the moment? Martin Odegaard. Without a shadow of a doubt. I've got Martinelli on the back of this shirt, but Martin Odegaard is on the back of the black away shirt, which is, in my view, the greatest Arsenal kit of all time. Although I have seen a number of reports of people reporting some peeling of the sponsorship and of the name tags, which ain't good. If you are having that issue, make sure you take it back to the Arsenal shop if you're having that problem, or send it back or send an email to the club. Usually they try and redo them for you. Mo says, hi, Tom. Do you think if we lose to Man City today, does that end our title hopes for this season? With their experience and past history, I feel we may struggle. Of course, it doesn't end our title hopes. We would still be level on points at the top of the table with a game in hand. Of course, it doesn't end things. It's a very cataclysmic way of thinking about it. No, of course it doesn't. George says, do you think Kieran Tierney should play tonight to help with the left wing against Lewis and defend Mahrez? No, again, I don't think you make significant changes to the back four in a game of this magnitude. You stick with what you've got and make minimal changes, just like the Trossard-Martinelli deal, if you do indeed want to make some tweak to the team. But you don't change the defence, not in this short period of time that we haven't enough time to even practice that opportunity at all. Sam says, Tom, do you think Arteta will have the ability to change if the first half doesn't go well, like formations and players that will be key? I mean, so far, Arteta hasn't necessarily given me the confidence that he can change the game with substitutions. We haven't necessarily seen enough of that so far. We've seen some of it, but we haven't seen enough of it. So I'm not wildly overconfident of the fact that they'll be able to change the game with substitutions. I'm hoping that the starting 11 can do the business for us today. Marcus says, will our new Polish player, Jakub Kiwior, get a chance at centre midfield? The team needs refreshing, as it's been off in the last 3 games. Not in this one. I think you'll see Jakub Kiwior start playing probably when the Europa League returns next month. I think that's probably the earliest that we'd see Jakub Kiwior start a game. He might come off the bench in some fixtures, but I doubt we'll see him anytime soon from the start. Let's go to James, who says, do you think with Eddie playing very central, he either needs to pull wider to be more involved, or do we need to overlap fullbacks to facilitate balls into the box and stop doubling up on wingers? He is still doing a little bit of more wide play. I think he needs to do more of it, but I think there's kind of a misconception that Eddie just stays in the middle. Some of the best opportunities in the last 2 games have been created from Eddie being in those wide areas. Think about the Ødegaard opportunity against Everton. That came from Eddie playing on the left, cutting inside, playing it across to Ødegaard, who should have hit the target, arguably even should have scored with that chance. So Eddie is pulling wider, but you're right in suggesting he probably should do more and should be moving about the pitch more. But that same token maybe doesn't come into this game, because we've seen against Spurs, against Man United, him playing the way that he's been playing, he can be very influential on the result, and we're going to need him, of course, tonight. Equine says, hi, Tom, how are you going to celebrate after we win? I love the confidence. I mean, I'm going to be working, so I'm not going to be at the game, but I'm working the game from home. I'll be doing the post-match reaction show on the Arsenal way, and then writing through till midnight tonight. Yeah, look, I'll celebrate it in my own way. I've got a day off on Thursday, and I've got a day off tomorrow, so I'll celebrate it then with a round of golf. That's what I'll do. GSM says, why not extend Reiss's contract and get at least 10 million for him? I don't know who's going to pay you 10 million, to be honest, but yeah, I just don't see that happening, unfortunately. Ikao says, I will drop Zinchenko and bring in Tomiyasu because of Mahrez, maybe. Tomiyasu obviously had a really good game against Liverpool in that position, but who knows? I doubt it. I think Zinchenko is going to be really up for this game. I'm going to be very, very motivated to be influential in this game. So I like that leadership from him. I like the influence he's had on us. I look forward to seeing what Zinchenko does this evening against his former side from the start. Let's go to John, who says, if Martinelli starts, could you see a plan to simply swap Trossard in at halftime, depending on how the game's going? I imagine that's maybe what will happen. But I think either one of them hopefully will do a great job. Whoever starts this game, we're obviously all going to get behind. We're going to get in support, and we need to do that. The TGT sneeze is back for today. Maybe it's a good omen. Maybe it's a good omen for us. Ray Beam says, TC, do you think our setup will change his setup and strategy against Pep, or will he go for the same approach as the previous time we played them this season? Look, if we play the way that we played last time we played them at home in the league, which was last January of 2022, and we don't have the chaotic second half that we have, I think we'll win. We were dominant. We created plenty of chances. We were fast, intense. Saka scored a great goal. You know, if we can play that way across 90 minutes, I've got great confidence in what we can achieve in this game. I'm looking forward to it. I think we've got a great opportunity to win it, and I'm excited to see what happens. Wilson says, do you think that it's vital that Arsenal do not lose this game to maintain the gap against City? I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? I think I'll put a the chat box actually. If I hold on, let me put a poll. Start a poll. The question is: if I offered you a 0-0 draw now, would you take it? That's the question. Yes or no? If I offered you a 0-0 draw now, would you take it? That's the question. Because it's a really interesting psychological question to ask support. I think that from my perspective, I don't think that I would. I don't think I would take it. I think that I would be confident that we can get a really good result today. But if I offered you it, you'd have to let me know whether or not you're going to take it. I'm interested to see how that changes. Already, 100 of you have voted. 40% have said yes so far. 60% have said no. Still very split. We'll get an update on that in 10 minutes' time at the end of the show. I can already see people commenting their answers as well in the chat box. Birat says, Tom, I can't stop thinking about it. What about playing Zinchenko in place of Xhaka and Kieran Tierney at left back? A lot of people want to see this. I just don't see the benefit, and thank you, by the way, joining us all the way from Nepal at 1:15 a.m. early in the morning. Well, enjoy the game tonight, mate. Yeah, I don't know why there's this desire to see us change Zinchenko, Xhaka. I think this is a game where you need to be as consistent as you can. And if you are going to make a tweak, which I would make one small one, it's only in that wide left position. That's the only one that I would make to this one. Dan says, is Jesus going to be on the bench? No. You're not going to see him until March, I don't think, at least until March. That's the earliest I think that we'll see Jesus involved. Francis says, Tommy, you're not concerned by our defence, especially how we've not seemed to be doing well on set pieces. Of course there's concerns, and you should always be concerned when you're going up against a side as good as Man City. It's not perfect. Saliba's been a bit underperforming of late. So has Ben White. Gabriel's been good. I think Zinchenko's had a couple of ineffectual games, but still our defensive record with him in the team is still very good. I'm hoping, of course, that we see a very strong physical performance. And then it's another reason why I wouldn't take Xhaka out of the team. I think Xhaka is important to that as well and to maintaining that discipline and the structure of how we want to play. So I think that we've got a lot to enjoy about what we have from our starting 11. I think you can change things, and Arteta needs to be a bit braver with the decisions that he makes. Let's go to Marcus, who says, which player's drop in form worries you the most? So many have dropped it. Saliba, probably, because I just think he's so critical in defence for us. He's levelled us up from last season, and if you've got an out-of-form William Saliba, you lose that difference that you had from the previous season. So he's probably the one that's worried me the most. But I still think that this team has got the ability to respond. And I do think that the situation of the last two league games is more of one of the big reasons as to why we didn't manage to win those games or we didn't look particularly great. I think actually this game suits us more than those ones against Brentford and Everton. Let's go to William. It says, do you think this will be the best atmosphere of the season so far? It bloody better be, William. I tell you, if you're going to the game tonight, please don't wait until the last minute to get inside the stadium. Get in the stadium earlier. Get in there like an hour before kickoff. There's still place to have a drink, get your food. Get in there an hour early. Get into the stadium, into the ground an hour before. Get into the actual seats at least half an hour before the game. Soak up the atmosphere. Get involved. Make it an intimidating place. Make it a cauldron of noise to support this side and to intimidate Manchester City. Just do your absolute maximum. If I was in the press box, I might even be tempted to join in, even though I'm not meant to. But I'll be certainly screaming and shouting from home this evening. Paul says, when we played against Liverpool, Arteta played Tomiyasu at left back. Do you think that Arteta might experiment again tonight? Of course, I think Zinchenko was unavailable. Wasn't completely fit for that game. And he decided to go against Tomiyasu because Liverpool were going with Nunez, Diaz, Salah, and was it Jota as well, or Firmino as well in there? They went with like four forwards in that game, and so we went with a much more defensive styled lineup. City, of course, are going to go very attacking. I still think we've got that. I think Bernardo Silva will probably come out from the team that played Villa, and Nathan Ake will come in instead. But beyond that, I don't think there'll be too many changes. I think that Mahrez will still play. I think Grealish will play, Haaland, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Rodri, Ake, Laporte, Akanji, and I think Kyle Walker will start a right back. So I think, yeah, that's probably the team that you'll see. But I think experimenting, it's just a bit risky. But I trust Arteta. He's given me no reason not to trust him this season in terms of starting lineups because look where we are in the league. And I think that's going to be the most important thing. Let's go to Ray Beamer says, Tom, do we still have the same set piece coach? Yes, we do. Nicholas Jova. We've been weak in defence and ineffective in attack on set pieces. Influence has waned a bit. Of course, last season we were brilliant from set pieces. Scored goals, conceded very few goals. But yeah, it has in the recent weeks affected us a bit, and we've conceded goals from set pieces. It needs to improve. We know that we've got the ability to defend them well, but maybe other teams have worked out a bit of what we do from set pieces. I think we've been a bit unlucky with them. The Martinez one was a bit strange, the little looping header over the top. Obviously, the one in the last game shouldn't have counted. It was offside, and part of defending is playing your opposition offside, so it shouldn't have counted. And the Everton one is a good corner and a good header from Tarkowski. So I'm not concerned about that as much at the moment, but it's just been a string of unfortunate events in that regard. Crypto says, who has performed below par post-World Cup? What about Xhaka, Saliba, White or Martinelli? I think Saliba is obviously the standout one, as I talked about earlier, but all the ones that you've named there have also been, unfortunately, slightly below what we come to expect from them. Let's have an update on the poll then. So 250 of you have voted. 42% say yes, you would take the draw. 58% of you say no. It's a lot more split than I thought it would be. A lot of nerves maybe in this fan base right now. A lot of nerves indeed. Lynn says, Arteta was asked yesterday about rotation. He said that rotation could come very soon, and we might see that against Villa. I don't think we'll necessarily see it against City. I could be wrong, but I don't think we'll see it against City. I think we'll see that rotation against Villa. Gavin says, is the Discord running throughout the match? The Discord is running 24/7, Gavin. If you remember, if you're an expert member or a TGT ambassador, our Discord has a game time channel within it, of which there is constant chat and communication. So if you're ever an Arsenal fan that perhaps doesn't have too many Arsenal people around you to talk with, and you'd like to interact with people throughout the game, join up as one of our TGT expert members or TGT ambassadors. Join the Discord server, and there is a game time chat where the members talk about things and react to the game throughout it as well. I did start a voice channel. I don't know if we've been using it, but there is a voice channel as well that people can join during games to have a chat throughout the match as well. Let's go to Faz, who says, morning, Tom. I really, really want our fans to back our lads on the pitch and not be influenced by the last few games. The Emirates was affected, I think, against Brentford. I think the way in which Brentford started the game certainly impacted that more so than anything else. But today, if we concede, I want to see the reaction like we saw when Saliba scored that own goal, the reaction when West Ham scored that first goal on Boxing Day. I want to see a reaction from the crowd that is defiant, that wants to see the team respond. That's what I want to see from it, because this team deserves to win this game tonight. We deserve to be where we are on the table, and we deserve to extend our lead. I'm really hopeful that we do. It's a massive, massive game. I cannot understate how big this is. I cannot understate how excited, how buzzing, how nervous I am for it. But most of all, I am just so grateful that I can sit here as an Arsenal fan talking about Arsenal are in a title race. Because if you'd have said to me at the start of the season that this is where we would be, I would have said, you are mad. Never, ever, ever would have thought that we would be in this position come this point in the season. If you would have offered it to me, I would have bitten your arm off for it. It's an amazing achievement that we're here, but it's not enough. And we know that. And we need to continue progressing, improving, getting better, and pushing toward what we need to achieve, which is getting this club back to the elite level. And not only there, but establishing itself there for the years and years to come. I'm confident. I'm hoping you're confident. I'm really hoping that we can get the job done. And if there's any better omen than Bakary Lasagna signing up as a member for the channel as well, thank you and welcome to the TGT family, mate. I hope that you enjoy your stay. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Do indeed drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll be back on here tomorrow morning with my reaction to the game. I'll, of course, be live straight after the game over on the Arsenal Way. We just hit 50,000 subscribers over there as well, which is an amazing achievement. It's amazing to think that across those two, that channel and this channel, we're nearly at 100,000 subs, which is absolutely mad. But thank you so much for everybody that's continued to tune in. Thank you for the support, the positivity, the confidence, the interaction, the engagement. It all means so, so much. But let's all get behind the team tonight. Let's keep those fingers crossed for a big, big win in tonight's game. Stay hyped, stay pumped, stay motivated. If you're going, as I say, get in there early, get part of the atmosphere, start creating that noise and that intimidation that Man City do not want to face. and give the boys the backing that they deserve and have deserved throughout the course of this season. I will see you a little bit later on this evening on the Arsenal way, and I'll see you again here tomorrow morning, bright and early, to have a full breakdown of what we see this evening. Have a great day. Enjoy it. And as always, up the Arsenal.